The economic issues are most vital for us, and it is of the highest importance that we should fight our biggest enemies, that is, poverty and unemployment. This quote was said by Lal Bahadur Shastri. Hello everyone, welcome to V2B Academy, and I welcome you all to the discussion on Employment Linked Incentive Scheme. So let's see it in more detail. So recently we have seen the Union Cabinet has approved something called as Employment Linked Incentive Scheme. So this will be operated from July 1st. So that's why it was in the news. So almost a 1 lakh crore budget allocation was given to it to implement this particular scheme. So what is the main aim of this particular employment linked incentive scheme? As the name suggests, this will bolster the employment generation. So it will increase the employment generation, and it will mainly focus particularly on the manufacturing sectors. So basically through manufacturing sector, they want to increase the employment generation. So if you look at the background and the context of this particular article, India generally faces the dual problem. What are the dual problems that India generally faces? One, we have a demographic dividend. Okay, we are in the stage of demographic dividend. What is this demographic dividend? So this is the demographic advantage. Okay, demographic advantage that the India possesses, where the young force, okay, the young workforce is in the highest percentage. Okay, if you look at the total demography of India, the one who can work, okay, the one who can actually do the job, perform the activities, the one who can be independent, who are in the age group of independence, so those population are more, whereas the dependent populations like the senior citizens and the children are very less. So that's the stage when the country can be called as the stage of demographic dividend. So in order to utilize the demographic dividend stage, we need to utilize the young force. In order to utilize them properly, we need to provide employment to them so that they can contribute more to the GDP of the country. Okay, so but what is the problem with India is facing a problem of unemployment, and formalizing employment is another problem. So even whoever is employed, okay, whoever the persons are employed, these people, most of them are working in the unorganized sectors or informal sectors. Why this will be a problem? Definitely whoever works in the unorganized sector, they will not be registered under EPFO or any formal things. So because of that, if government brings any schemes which benefits them, any social security benefit scheme which benefits them, definitely they'll not be getting benefited because these people are not registered. Okay, they'll be not getting proper pensions, salaries, okay, whatever the other incentives that are needed to be given to them, they will not be receiving all of them. So that is the biggest problem that India faces, Indian employee youth also faces, because they are in the unorganized sectors. So these are the twin problems that India is facing as of now. To solve these two issues, the cabinet has approved and has come up with a new scheme that is called as ELI, that is Employment Linked Incentive Scheme, to which 1 lakh crore, nearly 1 lakh crore budget allocation is given. Okay, so this will provide incentives for the employers and also the employees. Okay, so both of them will get benefit out of this particular thing. So employers will be given incentives so that they'll be persuaded to create the new jobs, so that employees will also get jobs. Okay, and whoever the first time employees, if for example till now you are an unemployed, so if you are first time becoming an employee, you will be given the financial support also if you are registering in the EPFO. Okay, so these kind of things are included in this particular scheme. So this will promote, generally we are encouraging them to register with the EPFO because we want to make them get registered so that they can get the benefits if any scheme or a social securities scheme is bought by the government in the future. So only if they are getting registered in the EPFO, it means they'll be getting the benefits if government comes up with any scheme in the future. Okay, that is the reason, in order to make them organized, in order to make them a part of the formal employment sector, so this particular financial support is given to the first time employees. Okay, and this will be an Aadhaar linked social security, so that will be provided to the employees. So the broader vision of this particular thing is to align with the initiatives like Skill India, Make in India, Digital India and Social Security for All. In order to get aligned with the broader vision of India or the broader vision of government, we have come up with this particular scheme. Okay, So what are the objectives of ELI scheme? So basically it will cover 3.5 crore new jobs. Okay, basically 3.5 new crore jobs. Okay, 3.5 crore new jobs will be created within the span of next 2 years. Okay, and also it will provide some income support to the first time salaried workers, and also it will encourage, because of the incentives that are given to the first time salaried workers, they'll get registered with EPFO. Okay, and mainly the jobs will be created in the manufacturing sector. Okay, because it is a core employment generator, because most of the labor intensive sectors and employment generation capability will be there in the manufacturing sector. So that's the reason ELI scheme will be more focusing on the manufacturing sector, and this will encourage long term employment, because what we need is a sustainable result, not a temporary result. So that's the reason a long-term employment is the objective of ELI scheme, and this will improve the financial inclusion, and also it will improve the literacy of the workers. And next one is EPFO registration will be expanded. Because of that, the employees will be getting the social security benefits. They'll be covered under the social security coverages that government has already come up with, or if the government is coming up in the future. And this will make the employment into a formal sector, so we can move towards the formalism of the employment generation. So especially all of this will happen in a private sector. So basically this particular scheme has two parts. One part is incentives that are given for the first time employees, and the second part is incentives that are given for the employers, so that they'll be persuaded enough to create new jobs. Okay, so let's see both of these parts. If you look at the first part, that is part A, incentives will be given to the first time employees. Whoever is getting employed for the first time, they'll be given certain incentives. So basically, in order to make them join as part of formal workforce, or in order to make them or encourage them to get registered under EPFO, or to support them initially, this particular incentive will be given. Okay. So the salary, whose salary is up to 1 lakh, this particular incentive will be given to them. Okay, they must be registered under EPFO so that they can avail the benefits of the social security schemes in the future. So the total support of 15,000 as part of incentive, 15,000 support will be given to them as a 1 month's wage. Okay, basically this 15,000 will be paid in 2 installments. So 7,500 will be given after 6 months of the continuous service they provide. Okay, as part of that employment, and next to 7,500 will be provided to them or given to them, added to their account after 12 months plus completion of the financial literacy course. So after doing all of this, they'll be given incentives. Okay, in order to encourage them to get registered under EPFO, and in order to make them sustainable in that particular service, in order to make the sustenance of that particular service, and to encourage them with the skill part. So this kind of incentives are given in the installments. Okay, special saving component is also there. So a part of the 15,000 will be kept. Okay, total whole portion of 15,000 will not be given to them directly. Some part of 15,000 will be kept as part of a savings account. Okay, or it will be added as a deposit instrument. So this will be withdrawn after a fixed lock-in period. Okay, because of this, they can develop a financial discipline, and they can come up with a long-term planning procedure. Okay, the payment procedure will be definitely a direct benefit transfers. Okay, will be done in order to avoid the middleman involvement into that, in order to decrease the corruption. Okay, so and also Aadhaar based payment system will be used. Okay, and also 1.92 crore first time workers will be as part of this particular scheme. So more than 3 crores will be given the jobs, right? So more than 2 crores new jobs will be created. Out of this, first time workers will be contributing more, that is 1.92 crore new jobs will be given to the first time workers. Okay, for over 2 years. And part B of this particular scheme is about incentives that are given to the employers, so that they'll be encouraged enough to create more jobs. So this will be encouraging for them to hire new workers across all the sectors. Especially we are concentrating on the manufacturing sector, as this will have a capability of creating more number of employments. Okay, eligibility. What is the eligibility for the employers? Definitely that particular firm needed to be registered with EPFO, and they must hire at least 2 new workers if current staff is less than 50. If the current staff is more than or equal to 50, definitely they need to hire 5 new workers. Okay, so they must ensure that the job retention will be at least for 6 months. So a job, if they are giving the job or if they are hiring, the job retention at least needed to be for 6 months. So continuous service of 6 months needed to be taken from the first time employees or a new one who is getting hired. Okay, So what will be the incentive structure that will be provided to the employers by the government? So if it is up to 10,000, okay, EPF wage of new employee, if it is given up to the 10,000, definitely a 1,000 rupees incentive will be given to the employer. And if it is between 10,000 1 rupee to 20,000, 2,000 rupees benefit will be given to the employer. And if it is between 20,000 to 1 lakh, okay, 20,000 1 rupee to 1 lakh, the amount of 3,000 will be given to the employers. Because of these incentives, they'll be encouraged enough to create more jobs or to hire more people. Okay. So employers will also be getting monthly support for each new hire. So whenever they are hiring a new person, definitely they'll be getting a monthly support for 2 years across all the sectors. And especially as we are concentrating on manufacturing sector, so incentives will be given as a monthly support for 4 years if they are hiring in the manufacturing sectors. And what will be the disbursement mode? This will be through the PAN linked bank account. And 2.6 crore new jobs will be created by incentivizing this particular thing. Okay, incentive disbursement mechanism will be done in this particular scheme. So as part of part A, that is employees will be given the amount through direct benefit transfers by using Aadhaar enabled payment systems. And part B, so verified PAN linked bank accounts will be credited with the amount of incentive that needed to be provided to them. Okay. And the firm needed to be get registered with the EPFO earlier. What will be the strategic importance of this particular scheme? So what kind of benefit and impact that we get from this particular scheme? One will be an economic impact. So this will actually stimulate the labor intensive sectors like manufacturing, textiles, food industries and electronic industries. So because of that, more jobs will be created under them. So youth unemployment issue will be solved and underemployment issue will also be solved. And this will boost the domestic consumption because of the increase in the wage earners. So because more people will get employment, as the employment increases, definitely they'll be encouraged enough to increase their consumption expenditure. Because of that, the domestic consumption will also increase. Social security expansion is the another benefit that we get. So as this particular scheme is focusing on EPFO linked things, okay, even for the employers, they need to get registered under EPFO. Even employees needed to register under EPFO in order to get the incentive. So because of that, as the scheme is EPFO linked, definitely these particular workers will become workers or employees will become formalized. Those people will be part of formalized sector. Because of that, as they are becoming as part of formal economy, social security benefits will be given to them. And this will help in formalization of the workforce. So this will reduce the informal employment and it will help in achieving the long-standing labor reforms that we are aiming for. And youth empowerment is another important thing that we can get. This will encourage the long-term employment, sustainable employment and the stable employment. This will promote financial literacy and it will promote the saving habit of the people. Okay, so this will basically get aligned with the national goals. So we have a national goal of National Employment Policy, PM Gati Shakti, that is to provide jobs and to provide or increase the infrastructure. And it will be aligning with the PM Vishwakarma Yojana also, which is about skilled work expansion. And we can actually it will help us to achieve something called as sustainable development goal number 8, that is about decent work and economic growth. And it will align with the Make in India also, that helps in boosting the domestic manufacturing. Okay. So if you look at the comparative insights of Atmanirbhar Rozgar Yojana with the ELI scheme, what is the difference between this? Focus of ELI scheme will be on the first time workers mostly, plus the employers, whereas in the Atmanirbhar Rozgar Yojana, which was introduced in 2020, employers hiring during the COVID-19. So we were focusing because of the COVID-19. Direct benefit to the employee, yes, it will be given under the ELI scheme, and employee will not be provided any incentives under Atmanirbhar Rozgar Yojana. So manufacturing incentive will be given for the 4 years under ELI scheme. So Atmanirbhar Rozgar Yojana, under it is not more than 2 years, and outlay is more like almost 1 lakh crore. Here it is more like near to the 22,000 crores, and target jobs under ELI scheme is 3.5 crore, and under Atmanirbhar Rozgar Yojana is 58.5 lakhs. Okay, so that was about the difference between those both. So ELI scheme is definitely a bold step, a multi-dimensional initiative where we are actually focusing on solving the problems of employees, employers, and social security things, formalization of the workforce, and the issue of unemployment. Okay, the issue of not turning the demographic dividend into demographic disasters. So it is solving a lot of issues with respect to unemployment, dignity of labor, financial inclusion, economic revival. So that's the reason this is definitely a beautiful step if it is implemented in a effective manner. Okay, so that was about today's video. I hope this video has helped you and added some kind of value to your existing knowledge base. So if you feel that these videos are helpful, please don't make sure that you hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell icon, so you'll be notified with whatever the content that we upload in the future. Okay, and those things will be acting as a source of motivation to me to come up with more such content for you people. So let's meet in the next class. Until then, take care, bye bye, and keep smiling everyone. So tata, bye bye.